Mabilis lang po na live dito ngayon. Ayon dun sa flash report dito sa DWIC, ang reporter po ay si Bert Mosso. Ang sabi ay sa second division ng Commission on Elections, dinismiss po ang petition for cancellation o certificate of candidacy na final ni Father Buenafe and others laban kay BBM. Ayon dun sa petition na yon, nagsinungaling di umano si BBM sa kanyang certificate of candidacy nung chinek niya yung box at sinabing he has not been convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude or a crime punishable by over 16 months. Magandang umaga po sa lahat na nakikinig sa Luminous. Maikling-maikli lang po ito. Isa pa lang po itong kaso. There are other cases that are filed in the first division. Iniintay po natin yon. Now, si Bert Mosso nag-report and this is corroborated by another report from Manila Bulletin. So, more or less, dalawa na po yung sources natin dito. Medyo i-call out ko lang ng konti yung nag-post sa amin sa wall. Sabi sa balita, nung pinost namin na dismissed yung kaso, sabi, bakit sabi sa balita, postpone daw. Excuse me po, balita din po ang DWIZ. So, yun lang po. So, ibig sabihin, yung final na kaso ni Father Buenafe to cancel the certificate of candidacy, which would have rendered BBM not a candidate and therefore not substitutable, is now dismissed. Of course, hindi pa, posibleng mag-file sila ng motion for reconsideration or given na maikli lang ang oras, maaari silang umakyat to a higher court to continue the case there. So, para madinig ng mas nakakataas na hukuman. Now, what can they do? Other than that, of course, they will try to get a TRO to prevent the candidacy. But it's not likely to be granted kasi pag ang binibigyan po ng TRO usually ay yung mga maliwanag kung ano yung karapatan at na habang kung hindi bibigyan ng TRO ay continuously malalabag yung karapatan na yon. And in election cases, usually yung mga TRO na ini-issue ay para dun sa mga para makapagkandidato yung tao, hindi yung para ma-prevent yung candidacy. Kasi mas malaki yung damage kung ipe-prevent yung candidacy. So, yun pa lang, of course, this is not final, but for purposes of elections, BBM will be considered a candidate. So, hindi canceled yung kanyang COC. We are awaiting the result of 2 other cases. Dapat today din daw po lumabas, but we're not sure. So, yung naka-file po sa first division, which are petitions for disqualification. Okay? So, may pagkakaiba yan. Doon sa petitions for disqualification, it goes into whether or not the candidate has all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications. Dun sa cancellation of certificate of candidacy, it goes into whether or not the candidate has truthfully answered his certificate of candidacy and dahil ito po ay under oath. Okay? Now, wag niyo naman po sasabihin na mabuti lang dahil magkakagulo kung hindi. Let's not threaten naman people. Although, I understand your sentiments and kumbaga, totally identify with them. But there's no reason to get negative. This is great news. Now, let's wait for the first division. Malapit na pong, they have to come up with it soon kasi today is the 17th. Ang 17th po supposed to be the start of the printing of ballots. So kailangan mailabas na yung mga kaso, maging yung mga resulta ng mga kaso na for disqualification and the cancellation of COCs. Okay. Not just for BBM, I'm sure there are other candidates na meron din ganito. So kailangan lumabas po yung mga decisions today, kasi nga today dapat mag-start ng printing ng ballots. Kaya po minamadali yan. Tinatanong ni Jel Ronquillo, is it safe to be optimistic? For me, yes, it is safe to be optimistic. Pero as we always advise people, cautiously optimistic. The so many signs point towards a how do you call this? A positive outlook for the supporters of BBM. Okay. Bakit daw walang live coverage like Kong Kwanson sa First Division? Well, I think it's also because may pandemic po tayo ngayon at marami pong nagkakasakit. So, uh, I don't really like to, kumbaga, this is good news. This is good news. Tinatanong ni Ignacio Reyes, ano yung kite? Ito nga po yun. This was the petitioner is Father Buenafe and others at Alian. And the lawyer is Attorney Teddy Te. So this is for the cancellation of certificate of candidacy. Yung this is with the second division. Ang first division po, yan po yung kay Com Weng Guanzon at yan ang disqualification cases. Okay. Yes po, uulitin ko po, ito po yung kaso na hinahandle ni Attorney Teddy Te and the petitioner here is Father Buenafe. Ulitin ko para dun sa hindi nakaabot sa umpisa natin ha. The case for cancellation of certificate of candidacy of BBM has been dismissed by the second division. And this is the case handled by Attorney Teddy Te on behalf of petitioners led by Father Buenafe. All right? Wala pa po kaming kopya. Ang basis po namin dito is Bert Moso's flash report. Just something like about 20 minutes ago. Sorry, more than 20 minutes. 24 minutes ago. Okay? So, we will, may tambayan naman po tayo mamaya. So, kung merong developments and anything else, i-discuss po natin at 12 noon. So, manood po kayo ng tambayan. Naka-live din naman po kami. Ulitin ko po, ang source namin dito is the flash report which was filed by Bert Moso here in DWIZ. Huwag niyo namang sabihin, hindi kami news. News din po kami. So, wag niyo naman sabihin mahina, wag niyo naman sabihin mahina yung mga lawyers. Para sa akin, you're also, kumbaga, if it's a bad set of facts, it's a bad set of facts. Okay. Mahirap magpilit. So, but guys, I'm only delivering the news. I didn't make it. So if ever we have to, if ever, once this has been doubly confirmed again, at meron na tayong hawak na, na resolution, tingnan natin, himayin natin yung mga reasons kung bakit na-dismiss po yung kaso. Sabi ni JM De Los Santos, hindi lawyers ang mahina, si Lenny lang. Okay? Ayan, sabi ni Roy Ong, himayin na, yes, himayin natin. CNN meron na rin report. So, confirmed na po. So, I just wanted to, mas madali kasi sagutin kasi yung isa-isahin ko dun sa post natin sa Luminous, kaya ni-live ko na. So, ulitin ko po para dun sa mga na-late tumating, dismissed po yung cancellation, petition for cancellation of COC. And then, this was filed in the second division. This was filed, one of the petitioners, the main petitioner is Father Buenafe, and the lawyer handling this is Attorney Teddy Te. Now, what can they do after this? Well, they can first file a motion for reconsideration, but that's going to be difficult for the Comelec to grant given nga na magpa-print na po sila ng mga balota starting today. Now, they can most likely they will do this, file a petition for certiorari with the higher court and take the issue to a higher court. And ano ba to? But will they be able to get, for instance, a TRO? Well, I know that they will try, but like with anything, if there is no clear right, then it's not likely that they will get it. Again, we're only dealing with whether it is likely or not. We cannot say for sure na madi-dismiss din yan in a higher court or anything like that because it will all depend on the merits that they're going to raise. So, titignan pa rin natin yan. Just on the face of it, makikita natin that it's Yes. The court will always be more cautious and allow a candidacy, tapos later on na lang kung merong issue, doon na lang hihimayin in the main case. So yung sa whether or not pwede pang ipigil base lang dito sa decision na to, we don't know the decision on the disqualifications yet. Pero on the petition for cancellation of COC, we should expect that the petitioner here will go to a higher court. Wag na mapikon. They're going to try. They're going to keep trying. But like I said, if you have a bad set of facts, it's not very, it's going to be an uphill climb. Yung iba feeling parang birthday na ngayon, ano? Sabi ni Hermes Kabansay, that's great news. I have a feeling the opposite camp already have an idea this is going to happen, hence the statement that they prefer to beat BBM in the ballot. Majijunk lahat ng petition, sabi ni Edwin El Nasim. Di ba nag-wish si Lenny na mas gusto niyang talunin si BBM sa botohan? Haha, komedyante talaga si Lenny. Yes, but hindi sinasadya. Alright, so this is a good reason to smile today. Uy, manood naman po kayo ng Tambayan mamayang 12 o'clock. And if we have an idea na of, or a copy of the resolution by then, i-discuss na natin at 12 noon. In the meantime, we're waiting for the decision to be issued by the First Division. Sana makaabot within the day. I'm not sure kung sino po yung kung makakapaglabas sila ng decision, but they should be. Okay? Para dun sa mga nagsasabing wala pa sa balita, baka hindi pa po na-upload online. Tandaan niyo po, radyo po kami dito sa DWIZ, so nag-flash report na po. Ma'am Irma, sinasabi niyo po, no good news as of yet. Sabi ni Ma'am Irma, that's not true. Kasi nga po, nag-flash report na po. Radyo po kami, so hindi pa po likely na na-upload na yung mga detalye ng dismissal ng kaso. But it has been already reported by both Manila Bulletin and CNN already. Alright? Wag niyo naman pong i-all caps. Tinatanong ni Lala Classic, yung sa First Division, wala pa po. Hindi ko po kilala si Attorney Libayan personally or si Attorney Magalong. Tinatanong kasi ni Jay Castañares. Hindi ko po sila kilala personally. So, ayun, ang dami nang nagsasabi may news na po. Nauna lang po kami ng konti. So, kasi nga po radyo kami, mas mabilis po sa radyo kaysa sa online. Pero I assure you guys, if I felt that there was doubt about it, actually we knew it half an hour before nilabas. But we had to wait for the so nung pinabalikan ko po yung flash report just to make sure bago ko pinost. So yes po, dismissed na yung sa second division. So we're waiting for the resolution of the First Division. Yan po yung in-online ni Comweng. Yun po yung mga cases. There were two cases. Yung isa was considered dismissed due to the non-appearance of the petitioners and their counsel. Sabi ni Zayday Castro, di ba same yung Akbayan and Teddy Ten na BIR issue? Actually, you can use the same issue in both the petition for disqualification as well as the petition for cancellation of COC. The difference is whether or not the Comelec will have jurisdiction on either. Well, first, whether or not the Comelec has jurisdiction. For the cancellation of COC, kailangan merong clear na decision already. This is the Grace po case. So ayon dun sa kaso ng Supreme Court, there has to be an adjudication. So dapat malinaw na may disqualification for the COC to be cancelled. So that was one of the arguments, if I'm not mistaken, for the defense. So, but in the meantime, it's allowed naman po to raise the same issue kasi magkaiba po yung tinatawag naming prayer. A prayer is not a literary term. It's really what you call the remedy that you ask for. So, dun sa second division, ang hiningi nila is cancellation of the certificate of candidacy. Dun sa first division, ang hiningi nila ay disqualification of his candidacy. Those are two different things. Ay. So, wait lang po, dun sa mga nag-aalala dun sa first division, wait lang po, hindi pa po lumalabas. I assure you, once lumabas yon, we're going to be either on the air on Tambayan or we will be here doing another live. And as soon as we get a copy of the resolution, himayin po natin kung ano yung naging basehan. Sabi ni Joseph de la Cruz, thank you sa ginagawa niya na mabawasan yung disinformation. Opo, but wag naman po kayong just to know so that you know what to expect. I'm fairly sure kasi in-announce na ni Attorney Teddy kahit noon pa, no matter what the decision is here in the Comelec, they're going to take it to a higher court. Okay? Wag na tayong mainis because for the moment or for now, BBM is a candidate, at least base dito sa resolution ng second division. Okay? Good morning, sabi ni Lorian. Lenny is facing huge humiliation against BBM. DQ nagmamagaling and insisting that she won the 2016 VP election by legit voting. Well, alam niyo naman. Ma'am, postpone daw po kasi madami daw po positive sa division na yon. Ma'am Rochelle, dami na pong nag-report. But if you're talking about the first division, ang most likely ang postpone is the promulgation, but alam na nila yung decision. So we will see because necessarily kailangan lumabas yung decision kasi printing of ballots po starts today. Thank you, nakahinga ng maluwag. Okay, hindi pa po maluwag kasi may isa pang decision. Hindi pa po ito yung decision dun sa first division. But one half, the battle is done with. Okay? Sabi ni Sir Buboy, dismissed. Sabi ni Ian, may mga date set na po yung mga future DQ cases. They should have all been promulgated today. Tulad nga ng sinasabi natin, dapat printing of ballots mag-uumpisa ngayon. So it's not just BBM's cases, it should be all the other cases as well para para resolve na and they can put the names of the candidates on the ballots already. Sabi ni Fred, second division, mas mabigat yung kaso na yan kaysa sa first division ni Guanzon, pero wala pang decision sa first division. Postponed. Alright. So the first division allegedly is postponed, but we don't know how long. It's possible na we'll find out. Like I said, I understand that the Comelec has a timetable and they have to start printing ballots today. So ngayon, ng mga pinks, isip-isip na bagong strategy. Patay na naman ang demokrasya, attorney. Well, they can always go back to Hadouken. But what? It was working. It was working in entertaining us. Sabi ni CJ Gabriel, sinabi ng isang attorney na nagturo sa Ateneo, nagturo din ako sa Ateneo, sa undergrad, na hindi pwede i-DQ si BBM, gawa ng top siya. That's Tony Lavinia. You're also taught in UP. Ano ba kayo? He was teaching in the UP College of Law when I was a student. Hindi ko siya naging prof. Let the people decide. Well, according to Rappler, out of context din po yun. But I understand kasi gano'n naman po talaga si Prof. TL, si Prof. Tony. By the way, his name is Professor Tony Lavinia. Alright? I understand his family is from Cagayan de Oro. But we share the same middle name. Lavinia ako, Lavinia din siya. Alright? So anyway, that's not a legal doctrine na hindi dapat, kumbaga, it's an ethical consideration na parang why are you trying to do by disqualification what you cannot get by elections? But I'm sure Prof. Lavinia had a bigger context for that. Sabi ni Steve, live bang decision yung kaso ni BBM? I'm not sure kung meron pang promulgation given the fact nga na may COVID. So baka wala nang yung physical na promulgation. They might try to do it online. I will find out later on. Andun pa po si Bert Moso, hindi pa ako naka-follow up kasi nandito ako nagla-live. Sige po. But don't forget, meron po tayong tambayan at 12 o'clock. So, bantayan nyo po dun sa Luminous, sa Facebook page natin, at saka dun sa YouTube ng DWIZ. Sabi ni Ma'am Pina, hindi po kayo related ni Attorney Lavinia. According to my cousins, we are distantly related. Pero magkaiba yung spelling ng Lavinia nila. Si Sir Tony, si Prof. Tony is L-A tapos capital V-I-N-A. Yung sa amin, dire-diretso, L-A-V-I-N-A. But according to my cousins nga, who are friends also with Prof. Tony, there are 3 families of Lavinia and all of them came from Cavite just as ours did. But yung sa Maylelong, immigrated from Cavite and went to Laguna. The others, they went to Cagayan de Oro, and then one more brother, I think, went, there's one more place, I forget where. Pero, so, 3 daw po yun. Sabi ni Daniel Quintas, paki-clarify nga po yung case ng cancellation, ano po ang pinaka-cancel kung di pa naman siya officially declared qualified. Di po ba dapat ipa-disqualify siya then ipa-cancel? Those are 2 different things po. Kaya nga, don't think of them as disqualification cases. Actually, this case that was dismissed is a petition for cancellation of the COC. Pagka kinancel ang COC, he's not a candidate. But in case he is a candidate, pwede din naman po ipa-disqualify kasi nga those are 2 unrelated cases. Dun sa isang case, they're saying that he lied in his certificate. Dun sa other case, he is not qualified at all. One is not a precondition of the other. Sabi ni Arnel Alfaro, salamat sa Diyos kasi niloob niya na di ma-disqualify si BBM. Destined talaga siya to be president. Guys, like I said, cautious optimism. This is only one half the battle. This is only the petition for cancellation of certificate of candidacy. He's still facing 2 more cases in the first division. Okay. Sir Vergel, wala pa po tayong update dun sa petition sa first division. Yan po yung Akbayan petition. Tinatanong ni Ma'am Salvatera, Ma'am, as far as I know, wala pong live, kaya nga po sa flash report ni Bert Moso kami nakiusyoso. Baka po kung matuloy yung sa first division, baka i-live yun. Bakit si De Lima pinayagan ng Comelec na makatakbo may kaso pa yang si De Lima? Okay, explain ko po uli ha. Si Senator De Lima is detained for a criminal case. Unfortunately, mali naman ako doon. Hindi pa po siya nako-convict. And because the Constitution says the presumption is of innocence, as far as the law is concerned, inosente pa po siya until makonvict siya ng Regional Trial Court. Ngayon, dun sa kaso ni BBM, he was convicted in the RTC, appealed to the Court of Appeals, which modified the decision. Now, he was convicted of failure to file income tax returns. But the failure to file an ITR is not a ground for disqualification because it's not a crime involving moral turpitude, nor is it punishable by over 16 months. Now, in the Court of Appeals decision, hindi po nakalagay that he will suffer perpetual disqualification kasi yung provision in the NIRC saying that a person convicted of any violation of the National Internal Revenue Code will suffer perpetual disqualification was not amended until if I'm not mistaken, 1997, but it might have been earlier. The point is that provision was passed after the crime has been committed, and the Constitution forbids what we call an ex post facto law, which means a law that was passed after the crime had already been committed. So, yun po yun. So, don't presume that Laila de Lima, any person who is still facing charges before a court is considered innocent. And therefore, since Laila de Lima has not been convicted, she is allowed to run. Okay? Wag na pong wag po natin ipagkaila yan. Sabi ni Ma'am Florence, sana it's gonna be hybrid elections. Hindi na po aabot because you need a law for that. Do you trust the Comelec this time around? I hope the 2016 Smartmatic VP anomaly will not happen this time. Ganito po kasi, madam we have no choice. By the mere fact that BBM and Sara and all of these other candidates filed their certificates of candidacy means they have placed their faith in the hands of the Comelec. They have no choice but to trust that the system is going to work because there is no evidence otherwise. Then if something does happen and it is against the law or suspicious activity, that's when we stop the trust. But for the moment, we stop the trust and the candidate will file their cases. For the moment, in the absence of any evidence to the contrary, then the how do you call this? The fallback or the position is that we trust them. We have no choice. Do you know that the filing of by participating in the elections, you're presumed to be trusting the system. Sir Edward Hakutan, no, it's not over. Wala pa po yung decision ng First Division. Alex Delisay says, totoo bang gumastos yung office ni De Lima ng 97 million in 1 year? May nag-post kasi sa Facebook noon I don't know what it's for. It will depend kung magagalit tayo if kunwari yung 97 million na yun ay ang budgetary allocation and those are government funds. So that would be corruption. But on the face of it, you can't just say, gumastos na 97 million, therefore you did something bad. It has to be against the law. And if the law there would be the Budgetary Act. Ma'am, bakit pinatutupad ni Tugade ang no vax, no ride? Wow, malayo na yata tayo dun sa at sabi ni Pau Acosta ay wala pong batas, bakit inaatupag ni Tugade na wala pang batas tungkol dyan? Alright. I think meron po It might be the Bayanihan Law if I'm not mistaken. And it's for a period of 2 weeks, no vax, no ride. So the rule can be as long as it is pursuant to an existing law, which would be the Bayanihan 2 Act, and in the public interest. So here's the thing magaling talaga si Pau Acosta. She can say that this is unconstitutional. But unless a case is filed with the Supreme Court or with the higher court or with the court, and a TRO is obtained, then it is presumed to be regular. Okay, since may live po si Spock Jimenez, ayon kay Ma'am Gretchen Garma, muna tayo. I-terminate po muna natin tong live na to. Anyway, meron naman tayong tambayan at 12 o'clock. Huwag niyo pong kakalimutan, tune into DWIZ 882 AM sa radyo. We're also on Facebook Live and YouTube live streaming mamaya. Kung hindi niyo po mahanap, ipopost lang po namin sa Luminous, both sa Twitter namin at saka sa Facebook page namin. Sige, let's listen to the live of Spock's James Jimenez so we get it straight from the horse's mouth. Maraming salamat dun sa pag-participate niyo sa live natin today. I just wanted to deliver the good news. Now it's time for us to get the details. Thank you very much po sa lahat ng sumubaybay. We'll see you at 12.